I talked to a few other guys. When he left, I talked to some guys on Denver's team. I talked to guys in Detroit's team that were young that played with him on those teams, and they all said the same things that I always said. Except for the practice things. They said he went really hard in practice, and they said he practiced every day. And this is what I learned when I first met him. You can't judge somebody by how the media perceives them. And great guy, great teammate. You enjoy playing with him. You enjoy being around him. It's the same across the league.
Well, here's a little snapshot of Allen Iverson and what has transpired throughout his career. Of course, last year got a lot of attention. People said he was done. He pointed out 17.5 points per game doesn't exactly look like he was done. Well, Kenny Smith joined Eric and I a little bit earlier, and we discussed what has been a very involved story. It was exactly 1 week ago I turned to you two guys and I said, do you think he's going to stay retired? And we go 7 days later, and obviously, of course, I think it's funny, he never officially retired. You got to sign papers, there's got to be paperwork.
Right.
But I think this worked out as well as it could have for everybody involved, including the fans. Don't you agree?
I knew he wanted to be in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if Philadelphia felt the same way. But then you had the injury to Lou Williams, and I think it was a good fit. I think that Philadelphia 676, you got to give them credit for going through the process and really thinking about it, really putting him out there, really sitting him down and talking to him, and basically executing a plan and the expectations.
Kenny, you said better than 85% of the guys playing in the league right now at that position at guard. So this is good for the league that he's back playing.
Right, it's good for the league, but I didn't shout out Eric again because that night, I don't know if he remembers, he said, Philadelphia, he screamed at the TV, at the monitors, Philadelphia, you can still use Allen Iverson, bring him back home. He's done a lot for you. And here he is today coming back home to Philadelphia. Right. I think that's, was a great call on Eric to kind of see the hindsight. But also, here's a guy who can make them legitimate. He makes them relevant, and he actually helps them. Because at his position, they have trouble putting points on the board from that position at times with Lou Williams out. So now they will not have trouble. Lou Williams will come back. They could play together. They could play come off the bench, probably Lou Williams by then after so many months out. But, Lou Williams having 17 points a game. You know for a fact you're going to get 17 or more from Allen Iverson at that position. And being in Philadelphia, I really believe his battery is recharged and rejuvenated more than any other place that he would have ever gone.
No, this is going to be fun. And by the way, the game is going to be on NBA TV. We'll look forward to that, seeing Allen Iverson play his first game back in Philly here on NBA TV on Monday. The other thing about this, guys, and I just popped up the standings here in the Eastern Conference on the computer. The thing about the East is you've got 4 teams, and then the other 4 playoff spots are very much up for grabs. And I know Philadelphia is 5-13, but there's no reason that they can't compete.
With Elton Brand, who hasn't really shown him what he could do yet, with Allen Iverson coming in, this is a team that can make the playoffs. They are a playoff legitimate team. They are scared in that first round now as a 6 or 7 seed because they have the ability to knock you off because they have 2 guys, and I throw Elton Brand in this, 2 guys who haven't played yet for Philadelphia. Elton Brand, to me, still has not shown what he can do with the Philadelphia 76ers.
And Andre Iguodala's been there number 1.
He's always been there. He's been there.
Right.
No question. Then throw Lou Williams back when he comes back and makes that bench tough.
Now, you talk about him being recharged and rejuvenated. You know exactly what kind of shape he's in because you worked out with him, right?
Well, I mean, he's one of those guys that never really get out of shape. His out of shape is probably better than most of us.
Right.
In shape.
No question.
So,
even when you're playing?
Yeah, even when you play. I mean, obviously he is, up in years, so it's not quite the same. But this is a guy that the energy's there, the compassion is there. With him, the whole thing about comfort. When that comfort level is there, you'll get a more enthused player.
So you've been working out with him while he's been holding out?
Or while he was holding out, he was working out. I didn't work out with him, but I had a guy to work out with.
Okay.
So he had been working out in anticipation of, probably with the whole Nick thing, thinking that may happen. So he sort of tried to keep himself relevant and in shape in playing basketball and doing those things. And he wanted to come back, but, just didn't think that this opportunity would come. And luckily for him, it did.
It's always like, I think your first team is always the team that you hold in most admiration. I think probably for most players. or the first team that gives you an opportunity.
Or significant time.
Significant time. That's the team that you hold with more admiration. And then coming back to that situation, I remember leaving Houston and coming back with other teams. And I actually walked towards the Houston locker room during halftime because you're so accustomed. I had been there 7 years. He's been there for 10 years. Right. You know, a decade of playing in the same building, the same fans. You know the popcorn guys. You know the ushers. You know the guy who turns on the light, guys who take your car to valet. You know everyone in the arena by first name. So this energy, I think, I just can't wait to see what happens Monday.
And I want to follow up on that with you because you were there. There are very few athletes who can probably compare to Iverson in Philadelphia in terms of how beloved a guy is with a team and a city. What is it going to be like when he goes back there?
Well, I think, you know, this is a team that was struggling with attendance. I mean, next to last in the NBA right now. So I think that you're going to get excitement. You're going to get people that just want to come out and see Allen Iverson. And then you'll see the effort. And hopefully what it does is it just picks up the team's effort. And now all of a sudden the enthusiasm is there. The excitement is there. So basically he just wants to be a part of something. They want to be a part of something that's exciting. I mean, it's a great sports town. So I think no one, I mean, it's very few that can come to comparison to, you know, how much compassion the city has for him.
He goes for 25 or more on his first night, guaranteed. That's my guarantee. 25 or more, the city gets electric. All of a sudden, they sell out the first night he comes in. Night 2 is maybe not a sellout, but night 3 will be a sellout again. 25 or more the first night.
Okay, 25 or more the first night. What should the expectation level be for Allen Iverson in terms of production for this team now going forward?
I think it depends on minutes. I mean, I think the more minutes you play, he's going to score. So I think if you're talking about this is going to be a 20, 24-minute player on your team, then I mean, he can still get close to 20 points a game. But I think in any range from, to me, 15 to 23 points is easy for Allen Iverson to
I think his role hasn't changed. It actually got better because when he left, he played with Andre Iguodala, but he didn't play with this Andre Iguodala, a guy who actually is a threat and command double teams on certain nights. So all of a sudden, he had a guy that was double teamed. He left. He didn't play with an Elton Brand who at nights could get 20 and 10. He didn't play with Dallenberg, the same Dallenberg guy who could actually block shots a little more savvy. So he's coming to a better team, Thaddeus Young. He's coming to a much better team than he left with the same personnel, and then he's not as good, but then they make him better. Where before he was supposed to make them better, this time they make him better.